football. Today it's a crossover matchup between the two divisions as the Crimson host the Elk River Elks. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with the coach Bill Hunstock. And Bill, a really nice start to the season for this Maple Grove team. They made a huge step forward last year and now off to a 2-0 start so far this year.
Yeah, they've really gotten their feet underneath them really quickly. They're going at a pretty good clip. I know Coach Lombardi and the staff aren't real pleased with everything, and they want to get better every day. But starting off 2-0 and having two solid wins over good opponents is a nice way to start the season.
Meanwhile, for Elk River, a tough way to start the year against Eden Prairie. They got a little banged up in that one. They lost in week 2 to Centennial as well. They're a team that was in the state tournament last year in Class 5A, and a real interesting philosophy for their coach, Steve Hamilton. He's talking about really preparing for the playoffs, that the early part of the season especially is kind of a dress rehearsal, trying a lot of different guys and just seeing who will be their best personnel.
Yeah, they really have to replace a lot of people on their team. They've got new players in different positions and things, and he's got some good younger players that he wants to see where they're going to fall. I think I can understand that approach to things, but I think early on it leaves you a little short. They're 0-2. They got hammered by Eden Prairie, which a lot of people with Tino Grace found out last night. You can get hammered by Eden Prairie pretty easily, but I think you really need to focus on how you're going to play and what your goals are, not only for the end of the season, but for every week during the season.
Let's talk about a couple of key players to look at tonight here, and a couple really of the better backs in the Northwest Suburban Conference, starting with the guy that really broke through last year. Some people calling him the Russian Rocket or whatever. Dennis Bartoszewski for Elk River is a guy who broke an awful lot of long runs a year ago, and he's had a good start this year.
He's had a very good start this year. We saw him late in the season last year, and he really had a nice game against Osseo. The team didn't win, but they had a good game, and he really ran the ball well. He started off, he's well over 200 yards in 2 games, in 2 losses. So they're going to run the ball, they're going to run it hard. Bartoszewski's going to be the main guy. They're a 3 running back offense, even a 4 running back offense, but he's the main guy, he's the feature back. He's got a lot of skills. He's got decent size, he's got very good speed, and he's very tenacious. And if he does well and they present problems to the to the Maple Grove defense, they could force some challenges. That's going to be the task that they have today, is featuring Bartoszewski and making it work.
And for Maple Grove, a guy who's kind of come out of nowhere to a certain extent. Last year he had to play on the JV because he moved to the Maple Grove attendance area late, but Tahio Nomain is wearing number 28 like Adrian Peterson. He's kind of built like him, and so far he's running like him.
And that's not a bad comparison to make. Tahio Nomain has got, I'd like to say he's the complete package. I haven't really seen him play yet, so I don't know about that. But if he's got the tools that we've seen in the past, and he's improved a lot, and I know that Coach Lombardi and the staff are going to have him be the feature back in a multiple scheme offense, then I think that's going to be a good thing for the Maple Grove offense and put some real pressure on the Elk River defense.
All right, Maple Grove looking to take care of business here tonight. Elk River trying to get into the win column for the first time here in the 2013 season. The Elks and the Crimson kick off next here on 12 Sports.
And welcome back here to Crimson Stadium. It will be Elk River kicking off. Elk River's Austin Larson will put his foot to it here, back deep from Maple Grove. Number 22, Clark Winnicky, along with number 6, Isaac Collins. Or on the way back is number 3, Isaac Collins, and Zach Corbin in the next wave there. So Larson will kick it off. And it's going to be coming to Collins at the 6-yard line here for Maple Grove. Collins out to the right, sidesteps a tackle, and will be brought down a little short of the 30-yard line around the 28. Elk River going back to some real kind of old school throwback uniforms. Look a little like Alabama or probably like Elk River looked back in the 50s or 60s there, just the real plain white and red. And we'll see what their defense can do against Maple Grove. Carl Altenberg, the sophomore signal caller for the Crimson. Corey Ross, the senior, who looked like he was probably going to be the starting quarterback, tore up a knee right before the season started. So Altenberg stepped in and done a solid job of running their team. Coyne and Winnicky will be behind him in the backfield here on 1st down and 10 for the Crimson. Opening play of the game, Altenberg looking to throw right away. Pass complete out there to Brady Engelke. And he is stopped after a short game. Pretty well defended by Elk River. About a 2-yard pickup on that opening play. There you see what Altenberg's done. They haven't had to throw the ball an awful lot here in these first couple games. Second down, and here's a give to Nomain, and a nice open field one-on-one stop for Elk River by DeVell Miller. That one was not actually too badly blocked, other than they didn't really get a good scrape on Miller, and Nomain will pick up about 4 or 5, but leave them with a 3rd down coming up. Third and a long 3 from the 35-yard line here for Maple Grove. Opening possession of the night here. A 5 p.m. start here on this Rosh Hashanah week. Toss back goes to Clark Winnicky. And Winnicky will have himself the 1st down out over the 40 to the 41 or so. There is a look at Matt Lombardi. 3rd year with the Crimson. Both of these guys came in at the same time to their respective programs to kind of come in and turn things around a little bit. And Coach Lombardi certainly has done so here at Maple Grove. And Elk River was farther down than Maple Grove and also farther down for longer. So I think in a lot of ways Coach Hamilton had a tougher task coming in and got his team into the state tournament last year. They're in Class 5A, a little bit smaller school than Maple Grove. Here's Nomain, and he is popped pretty good in the backfield. One big, one small guy getting to him there. Garrett Van Epp, 6'1", 275, along with Zach Severson. You see 40 and 78 arriving with some bad intentions there.
It was very, very nicely played defensively. That toss sweep can be a real tough play to handle defensively, particularly if there's a good block right on the flank, right on the edge of the formation, to give that that running back a lane. So that was a good job coming down the line of scrimmage by number 40, Zach Severson.
Short loss on the play, 2nd and 11 now for Maple Grove. They fake the pitch and give it to Winnicky, and again, pretty well stacked up as he's dragged down there by Christian Tobin, number 69. He'll pick up a couple on the play.
Now we're really in the first, what we would think, 3rd and long situation, 3rd and 8 or 9. Looks like about 3rd and 9. Normally we'd think a passing situation, but Maple Grove hasn't really thrown the ball a lot this year.
Got a pretty good offensive line in terms of being able to run the ball, but we'll see pass protection-wise also. Altenberg will roll to his right. Severson on the pressure, throws it up deep for Engelke, and he's got it. Pass is complete. Threaded the needle pretty well, especially considering there was some pressure there. And the long gainer all the way down to the 25-yard line.
Nice grab by Engelke. as Altenberg, off of the pressure from Severson, and Engelke just got a yard or so behind the defender and was able to go up and grab the ball. Pretty nicely thrown ball, pretty well completed play.
Pickup of 32 on the gainer for the Crimson. So first down and 10 on Elk River's 25 here. Altenberg rolling left this time, throwing, and he short hops that one in there, looking for Sam Franta, but didn't get enough on it as he tried to get his hips turned and throw that ball.
Well, that's one of the toughest passes to throw for a young quarterback, moving to his left, in this case his offhand, and trying to get his hips and feet around to throw the ball and still keep moving is very challenging for young quarterbacks to get moving towards the line of scrimmage so they can get their hips around to throw the football and get their hand on top of it.
Nomain comes back in, and he's been bothered by an ankle injury, and we could really see him hobbling as he came back into the field onto the field a little bit there. And this one's going to be whistled down as Maple Grove with a procedure penalty here before that snap. So moving back 5, first penalty of the game on either club. Elk River, a lot of new faces, especially on defense, from that team that ended up getting them a section championship a year ago. And very a somewhat unique situation for them in that they're playing in a conference where none of those other teams are in their section, and most of them are in Class 6A.
Right.
So they're, they've got one eye on who they're playing this week, but they're also thinking ahead to teams, down the road. Rogers was the team they beat. That's their district rival. And here's the toss back. Nomain will cut it to the middle. And just too many bodies to break through there as Elk River able to stack him up pretty good. A gain of a yard, maybe 2, is about all he'll get. But other than that long pass play, they've been relatively solid defensively so far here.
Exactly, and we can see that the hole starts to open up for Nomain, but closes pretty well with about 5 or 6 Elk River defenders closing in on the ball at the point of attack and making a nice play, forcing a 3rd and about 14.
Play action here. Altenberg stepping up, throwing, and incomplete. It looked like a little confusion on the route there with Engelke, and it sails incomplete. Pretty solid defense there, although there might have been room. It almost looked like a double move was coming, and he got rid of it a little sooner than maybe Engelke was expecting there.
Yeah, I think Engelke was going to break it up the sideline, and instead the ball was thrown when he made the out cut. So now we're at 4th and 14.
And looks like they're going to go for it. They're in a spot on the field where a punt really does you no good and too far for a field goal.
There you go.
They are going to go. Altenberg rolling out, flag down on the play. Here's the pass, tipped, batted around, and eventually incomplete. It was caught but out of bounds, but we'll see what this flag's all about. It fell right at the beginning of the play here. Illegal shift against the Crimson, and it should be a declinable penalty, and Elk River will take over on downs. You see DeVell Miller getting up to get his hands on this one initially, and back at the end of it, Brad Yankoviak wanted this interception pretty bad. He made a great effort, but he ended up on the sideline. Either way, they're actually going to turn out, you see he's clearly out. They're going to turn out better with field position-wise anyway.
Yeah, intercepting a pass on 4th down is problematic to begin with.
Elk River, a very unique offense. The T formation set. Austin Larson, the quarterback, I think he had a little trouble getting the snap. Yeah, there's a big scramble for the football down there. I don't think he ever really had it. And we'll see if they, as they unpile, who ended up with this one. Maple Grove says they've got it, and they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So Elk River's drive, if you want to call it that, last one play. Looks like the recovery, I believe, made by Isaac Collins. Austin Larson never ended up with this football. So how's that for a start? Not so good if you're the offense, and you like it a lot if you're the defense.
The ball, just like in a rugby scrum, got kicked forward, and Isaac Collins is able to crawl in there and get it. Isaac Collins, not the biggest guy out there. At 5'9", 165 pounds, he was able to worm his way down and grab the ball.
So Maple Grove more or less has it back where it was, except for now they have 4 fresh set of downs here. Handoff goes to the fullback, Coyne. Coyne has some room up the middle, broke through a tackle, and then just dragged down on a shoestring tackle just short of the 10. He's going to pick up a nice gainer of about 18 or 19 on the play. Mostly a blocker, but you toss him a bone every now and again, and Tyler Coyne at 6'1", 220, he was off and rumbling.
And this is exactly what you want your fullback to do, is to keep those inside linebackers inside and honest, make them step up and make a play. And that opens up the running game for your tailback, particularly in this fairly standard I type of offense that Maple Grove is using right now.
From the 12, handoff, Nomain up the middle. They try and dig at the football. He'll pick up and there's a flag down on the play. He got about 6, but I think we have a flag on each side of the.
Yeah, there's going to be a procedure encroachment.
An illegal shift again against Maple Grove. So wipe out what would have been a pretty nice gainer there.
And those illegal shift penalties, those are motion penalties, and that's basically what's happening is there's one of two things. Either two people are moving at the same time, or the man moving is moving towards the line of scrimmage at the snap of the ball, not away from it. And that's really, that's a basic fundamental thing. I know Coach Lombardi will not like that kind of stuff.
Officials getting a little confused on the spot. This has got to be moved back 5 from the line of scrimmage, which not
one would usually think.
Yeah, they were. Okay, they've got it squared away here now, back to about the 16, maybe 17-yard line. 1st and 15 coming up now for the Crimson. They could get a first down before getting to the end zone. The marker's down on about the 2-yard line here. Hand off to Nomain. Digs forward to back to just about the original line of scrimmage, it looks like here. Bring up a 2nd down and about 10. So just 4 carries so far for Nomain. They've held him pretty well in check with 10 yards.
Yep.
He's been kind of coming in and out depending on formation a little bit. Winicky now is the deep back. Takes the toss to the left. Winicky keeps his leg drive going inside the 5 before he's wrapped up. Be short of the first down, but still a nice pickup there for the Crimson.
Yes, it is, and you can see that toss sweep, and they get the outside sealed, and there's a nice running lane there for about 7 yards, 8 yards. So pretty well executed by the Maple Grove offense.
5.5 minutes to play in the opening quarter. No score on the board here, but Maple Grove threatening. They are at the Elk River 4-yard line with a 3rd and 2 coming up. Seems as though they've taken quite a bit of time getting in and out of the huddle here. We'll see if they're going to be close to running up against that play clock. Altenberg fakes the toss, gives to Nomain. Nomain is going to walk on in for the touchdown. Crimson on the board. Tahi Nomain following that left side of the offensive line, and he is in for the score.
It was very nicely executed by the left side of the offensive line, getting a good push and getting a nice seam for Nomain to get in for that touchdown. First score of the game coming off of a turnover on the very first play of the game by the Elk River offense.
Tyler Knutsen's extra point try is up and no good. And so with 5:08 to play here in the opening quarter, our score becomes Maple Grove 6 and Elk River nothing, as the Crimson able to capitalize on that first play fumble by the Elks. Here's another look at that touchdown.
Well, you can see a good job of pulling by the wing back. That's number 45, Tyler Coyne, who had a nice run to set it up, but he's like a third guard in the backfield. You can see he pulls through the hole, walls off the linebacker, and gets Nomain into the end zone.
So Knutsen will kick it off here, Elk River. We started to talk a little bit about their offense and what is kind of a what's old is new again kind of deal with them. They've got the straight T formation with the 3-back set behind the quarterback, very tight to the line of scrimmage and a couple of big tight ends in there. Something that would not have looked remotely out of place 50 years ago, but isn't something you see all that often. And very deceptive, very difficult to tell. You have to really be mentally tough defensively on who has the football. There'll be a lot of plays where people will be looking around, okay, who's got it, who's got it?
And there's a lot of misdirection possibilities and a lot of power possibilities with that formation, just not a lot of passing possibilities.
Kickoff taken there by straight up the middle, and solid hit delivered there as a return man for the Elks. Nolan Dwyer on that return.
And his forward blockers stopped running right before he got to him and gave the momentum to the Crimson. Had they kept moving, he had a nice lane to run there, but the blockers slowed down. That makes it a little tough.
So Austin Larson is at quarterback. They expect to use 2 and maybe 3 quarterbacks here this evening. First down give, it goes up the middle, and again, who's got the football? This is Bartoszewski, and he will carry it for a nice gainer of about 13, maybe 14 on the play.
You can see that the one halfback, Will Hoff, carried out his fake very well and took 2 defenders with him, while Bartoszewski was running the ball right up the guard.
As Coach Lombardi, he said the first couple days we practiced for this, we practiced without a ball to make everybody remember, okay, this is your assignment regardless. Here's a handoff going to the halfback this time into Crimson territory. Ball started to come loose late, but still held on to well enough there by Zach Ernst, number 23. And so far, so good for Elk River. As a 22-yard pickup for Ernst follows the 14-yarder for Bartoszewski, and he did a nice job breaking the tackle there of Isaac Collins as well.
Absolutely, and again, you can see that there's some really nice power possibilities here with 2 lead backs and a tight end to make things very tough on the edge.
Not quite as much this time, but handoff going here to Ernst again, and still a decent pickup of 4 that time. They've really got a big offensive line right now.
Absolutely.
Too. There's a look at Steve Hamilton, who came into Elk River. He's been a coach in Michigan and in Georgia before, and coming here to Minnesota and getting some things established with the Elks program here. So 2nd down and 6 now. Handoff. And it is Bartoszewski taking that handoff, and he is going to have another 1st down.
And there was 4 guys that tackled Will Hoff while Bartoszewski was running the ball. That's the idea of misdirection and confusion with who's got the ball. 2 guys tackling Bartoszewski, who had the ball 6 yards up the field, and 4 guys going after Hoff, who didn't have the ball.
I'm going to tell these defensive guys, don't feel too bad. I'm watching with binoculars and still getting fooled on about a third of these plays. Here is a handoff to Bartoszewski, and he runs into a stack here, but still another nice pickup for the Elks, as he will pick up 6 or 7 on this play, about 6.
And again, you can see the crisscrossing action in the backfield. Offensive line is doing a good job. The defensive linemen really aren't getting good shots at the running backs. And Bartoszewski's getting into the linebacker zone pretty quickly.
2nd and 4. This time kept by the quarterback, Larson. And he spins his way inside the 25 to about the 23, and it might be enough for another 1st down, it would appear, or very close to it anyway. It is a 1st down, in fact.
And you can see how he handled the ball after making the fake to 2 of the running backs. He had the ball on his hip. Very hard for the linebackers to see who's got the football as he comes around the corner there.
And this time he doesn't get the snap. Larson, I think, got on this one before any Crimson player could reach it. So such a momentum-filled drive for Elk River, but that was the way their first drive of the game started, was a fumble lost. on a bad center quarterback exchange. This time they get it back, but Larson will now leave him with a 2nd down and 10.
Well, that time he pulled out from the center too quickly and got away from it too quickly.
Hand off to Bartoszewski, stood up here by a host of Crimson tacklers here after a couple 2-3 yard gain. They've been wrapping him up high and never really got him to the ground, but holding him up so he has nowhere to go. Give him about 3 on the play. Yeah. Bartoszewski unofficially 30 yards on 4 rushes so far, and then Ernst has had a couple carries for 26.
But you can see how much clock time this offense eats up. 25, 30 seconds per play.
Hand off going to Ernst, and this time very well defended by the Crimson as they stack it up and knock him down.
Well, that time the Crimson brought 9 guys into the line of scrimmage, so every hole was covered by 1 guy and 2 guys covering into where somebody else already was. It's just too many people coming in and not enough people blocking.
Larson looks like he's going to attempt a field goal. It would be a 35-yarder. Alec Hills is the holder. 4th and about 6 here for Elk River, and they are in fact going to kick it. Larson driving a low liner, and it is wide left. He had enough leg on it, but a fairly stiff breeze. Well, I shouldn't say that. The flag isn't moving much. We feel a little wind coming up through the booth here, but Larson not quite able to knock that one through. So Elk River a very good drive, but the Crimson hold up at the end there and able to get a stop and a missed field goal. So Maple Grove will get the football back. 1st and 10 at the 20. 42 seconds left here in the opening quarter. Maple Grove leading it by a score of 6-0 here on 12 Sports. Along with Bill Huntstock, I'm Jay Wilcox, and thanks for being with us here for this special early start, 5 o'clock start here in the Northwest Suburban games this week. And this snap is dropped, and this might be an Elk River recovery. It looked like they might have got there first. Officials getting in there to check it out. But the young quarterback may not win that battle with a defensive lineman. It is Elk River football. Elks come up with it.
89, Zach Jensen, big defensive end, tight end. Looks like he made the recovery.
So much like Maple Grove, Elk River gets the football basically right back where they had it with a new set of downs here late in this first quarter. Maple Grove capitalized. Elk River hoping to do the same. New quarterback in there this time. It's a rollout on the right, and this is Trent Pink, the sophomore that they really like. A little different kind of guy. 6'3", 165. He's a young sophomore, they said too, but he's got a lot of quarterback skills and a quarterback background in the family. His dad is a coach and everything too. So we got a flag on this play for a hold anyway, so it's going to come back. But
that was still pretty, except for the hold, still pretty well executed. And Pink showed that his range and long legs can really make a difference going around the corner there.
So
but
it's going to move,
brings it back.
Yeah, moving back to the 29-yard line. Wow, they had their, what had been a good drive held up by a fumble earlier, and then this one going to be held up by a penalty. They're going to let the clock run down. So that's going to do it for the first quarter of play here, and Elk River hanging in with Maple Grove so far. Our score after one, Maple Grove 6, Elk River nothing. The second quarter is on the way next year on 12 Sports.
Osseo, Crystal, and Plymouth. Channel 12 is your local source.
Intercepted. This one looks like it could go for the touchdown.
Reed looks it away and Hopkins advances.
Hello and welcome to a new season of Sports Jam.
Channel 12, your local source.
First and 20, and this snap is lost by Elk River as we start quarter number 2. They had a penalty to end the first quarter and then didn't get the snap. And it looks like they did recover. As we said, Trent Pink now in there at the quarterback, number 18. This is not anything unexpected. They had intended to use 2 and possibly 3 quarterbacks here this evening. So
that ball keeps getting kicked away from Pink.
Well, when it happens enough, you start to say, we got to really bear down and get this figured out.
Yeah,
this is the third time already.
Yeah, that's the third mishandled snap.
And this ball is going to be ruled down. Picking it up there was Theo Fryer, but he'll get the recovery. However, not the return, but either way, Maple Grove ends up with the football.
So ball handling an issue here on this particular drive with Elk River, with a couple of badly handled balls consecutively, and Maple Grove coming up with the second one for their second turnover of the game, eliminating a threat. The ball was at the 19, and they're getting it back at the 30 after an exchange of fumbles and penalties. So Maple Grove in much better position now than they were 2 minutes ago.
Coyne coming in motion. Altenberg will hand off. No main is stacked up. No room to run this time. Wrapped up on that play by Severson and also Gonrowski. And maybe a very short loss, if anything. About back to the line of scrimmage, roughly for Tahi on that play. So second down and 10 coming up here for Maple Grove.
It was well played by the entire front, defensive front for Elk River. They just really got a lot of penetration and let their linebackers move.
Altenberg rolling left, flips it out to Coyne. Pass complete. Coyne dragged down from the side, but he should have enough for this first down, it looks like. Out over the 40 to the 41 or so. Another look at it here.
Coyne doing a really nice job. He's a very versatile back. He catches the ball, he runs the ball, and he blocks. I mean, you can't ask much more of your fullback than those things. And he catches the ball, makes a first down. That's a huge plus for the Crimson.
Altenberg looking to throw, flares it out to Winicky, shakes the first tackler. Winicky into the secondary, and he might go. Clark Winicky down the sideline, and see you later. Touchdown, Crimson. Right as he caught the ball, somebody was on him immediately, but he shook that off, and then it was off to the races. 58 yards for the score for Maple Grove.
Clark Winicky making a nice catch, shaking off a tackler, picking up a downfield block, hitting the sideline, and using his speed to get all the way through the secondary untouched for a very nice touchdown on that little flare pass.
Extra point attempt is up from Knutson, and this time it is good, and so Maple Grove's lead grows to 13-0 here. 10:18 to go in the second.
This is a nice break of the tackle right there. Gets a downfield block, 1-2. And you can see he gets downfield in very good order for the Maple Grove touchdown.
See, the timing was pretty good with those blocks also.
Absolutely.
Because you're not going to be able to hold that block for all that long, and Winicky hit it. Obviously, you run plays in practice, and a lot of times you'll run them either against the scout D or just run them against air to get that timing more than anything.
Exactly. Yeah, keeping the running back or the receiver being able to adjust his speed behind his blockers to the speed that his blockers are moving, and then being able to accelerate into the open space that is left as they're making contact. And I always tell your downfield blockers, you don't have to throw at the guy. You just got to get downfield and run and get in somebody's way to let the running back go or the receiver go, and they'll do it.
Short kick here. It's going to bounce to Ernst at about the 13-yard line, and he's got some room, and he might go. Just a kicker to beat. He's forced back a little bit and now knocked down from behind. The ball comes loose and it's going to be Maple Grove football. Run down by Adam Brandt there with a little help from Knutson. Just enough to make him have to make a cut. And what looked like it might be a touchdown return for Elk River instead turns into a fumble, and the Crimson get it at the 7.
Well, third turnover for Elk River, not a good thing, especially on a return like this. This is a great return, and somebody's got to be letting the return man, Ernst, excuse me, know what's going on behind him. Everybody teaches your guys coming up from behind. You chop down on that ball and pop it loose. You've got it when you're running away from people. You got to protect the football.
Toss back to Nomain, and he is cut down. Getting there in a hurry for the Elks was Josh Wiechek, number 85, able to take him down low here.
Wiechek makes a nice play, and you can see number 40 coming down the line of scrimmage, Zach Severson. He's a very good defensive end. As he sees the play going away from him, he goes right down the line of scrimmage, and more often than not, he's able to make the play or help with it.
Loss of a yard on the play right there for the Crimson. Elk River, of course, you'd like to try and hold them deep and force a punt if you could possibly do so. Hand off to Coyne, and he falls down right away. Coyne stumbling, tripped over someone's foot there, and maybe a yard or so, got back to about the line, was about it. So 3rd and long.
And this has been fairly effective for the Crimson so far in this game. They've made a couple of nice plays on 3rd and long to get first downs and maintain field position.
Altenberg going play action. Pretty good time. Throwing, and it's complete. As he's able to hook up with Engelke again, and that's the guy that got him out of a hole on 3rd and long before, too, or that combination anyway.
Exactly, and that's the primary receiver, and that's the out cut, and the defensive back was looking for the up cut. So this is pretty well executed. Altenberg puts the ball right out there where Engelke can make the play, and Yankovic is just left looking.
Here's Winicky taking the pitch. Almost weaved his way through there, but then DeVell Miller hit him from the side there. I don't think he really saw that hit coming. He got about 5 on the play, though. Looked like it might have a chance to go for quite a bit more. Not seeing as much of Nomain. I got to believe it's, in part with that ankle.
He's got an ankle injury, yeah. And you can see he's limping coming in and going off, and that's got to bother him just a little bit.
But obviously they like Clark Winicky as a ball carrier too, and that's the other part of it. 2nd down and 5 coming up here for Maple Grove. They lead at 13-0. Altenberg dropping to throw. Complete to Engelke, and he is just tripped up. Almost worked his way through that tackle, but not quite. And brought down on the play for the Elks by Nate Collins, number 30.
And the little bubble screen right there by Maple Grove. Safe pass. Pretty well played by the defense. Looks like it's going to be close to a first down, but that's the same play that Maple Grove opened the game with, that bubble screen, and just let Engelke catch the ball and find a place to run. There it is, a first down.
Just by the nose of the football. Crimson get the first down at the 33-yard line here, so got 8 minutes to go here in the 2nd quarter. Maple Grove leading at 13-0. Elk River looked like they had a special teams play going that might turn the tide a little bit. And then a great hustle play by Adam Brandt running the return man down, chopping the ball loose, forcing a fumble. Crimson get it inside the 10 and starting a drive out right now. Here's the toss back to Winicky, and he is thrown down. Elk River getting there in a hurry, as it was Van Epps and Jones getting there. Short gainer on the play, or short loss on the play, I should say.
And the linebackers for Elk River are doing a great job of scraping to the point of attack and arriving with their shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. Makes it very tough for the running back to get any kind of a seam when the linebackers have their hips and shoulders square to the line of scrimmage.
Play action fake. Altenberg rolling right, throwing downfield. Oh, and Engelke came back nicely to meet it, but not quite able to haul it in. And maybe bothering him just a little or getting a hand in there was Michael Dawson. Nice job by Engelke to come back to meet this. It was a little bit underthrown, but got hit just as the ball got there.
Dawson was right around his legs. I don't know if that affects your hands, but he was right on his legs, and that can just disrupt your timing and move your hands just a half inch or so, and that's a drop of the football.
So 3rd down and long here for the Crimson. Again, they've been able to come through with a couple of clutch 3rd down passes. You know, kind of learning on the job, obviously, as a sophomore is Altenberg, but you got to like the way they've been able to come through. A team that's a timeout taken here by Coach Lombardi, but a team that's been primarily a running team this year to convert a couple of 3rd and fairly longs with accurate throws and good routes. You got to like that.
Absolutely, and he's completed more passes than have been incomplete. So he's done it. His percentage has moved up. He's throwing good balls, and he's also throwing completable passes. He's not trying to make the impossible throw, which young kids really like to do. As a quarterback, they want to throw the ball where they think it should go, not where it's necessarily open to be thrown. Engelke's made a couple of really nice catches when Altenberg's really only had one bad throw, that one he skipped earlier in the game.
Good student section here at Maple Grove, and they've, I don't think there's much doubt the excitement has been ratcheted up a notch or two in the last couple of years for Crimson football, just all throughout the community here. 3rd down and 11 now for Maple Grove after that timeout. Altenberg, a big deep drop. Jones is after him. He throws him down, and that pass floated up the middle over Winicke's head. Jones got there, and he reached out those paws. 6'2", 225-pound junior, and Maple Grove at that point was just hoping to get rid of this one and not have it picked off.
Yeah, you can see Jones does a good job, gets his hands up and keeps running right at the quarterback rather than jumping in the air and giving him a chance to escape. So first punt of the game.
Jebba Doe will punt. Bartoszewski, the single deep man here for Elk River. Doe, a running punt on the ground. Bartoszewski wants to pick it up and at least save it from bouncing anymore, and he's able to do that as he goes out of bounds a little shy of the, well, about the 37-yard line of Elk River. So the Elks get the football back. Boy, they were so impressive on that first drive.
Yep.
But then ended up fumbling the ball away. They've shot themselves in the foot with turnovers.
Absolutely. 3 turnovers, costing him 2 touchdowns. That's a tough way to start the game. And this offense depends on being able to grind the clock out, grind the yardage up. And it's hard to come back from too many scores to stay relevant in the game. Well, especially when you drop the ball in the field.
Again with the bad exchange, Nolan Dwyer is the quarterback now for Elk River. And as they unpile here, I haven't seen any definitive signal either way yet. It looks like it must be offense ball. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Maple Grove. Bartoszewski lost his lid in the middle of that pile there.
Well, all 3 quarterbacks have had problems with the center exchange. And that tells me that either it's not being handled properly by the center, but more likely the quarterbacks aren't up under the center court close enough, and they're moving their hands at the snap of the ball before the snap actually gets up to them. This is a good timeout, I think, by Elk River. You got 3 quarterbacks, and all 3 quarterbacks have dropped the ball on the floor. You just cannot have that and make a consistent offense. And this offense depends on consistency. So 2nd and 10 just isn't going to cut it.
You think you have to have some hesitation after this too, which can hurt your timing. You're not going to be crisp if everybody's first idea is to look, did we get the snap?
Yeah.
Is he still in possession of the ball?
Yeah, it weighs on everybody's mind mentally, and it makes you slower off the ball, and just is not a good situation. The quarterbacks have to really learn to stay with the center through the entire snap of the ball.
Handoff goes up the middle and into the secondary. Here goes Ernst. This time he'll wrap up hard and hold on as they tried for the football again, but Ernst going to pick up about 35 yards on this carry, and again, not a lot of guys knew he had it.
Absolutely. There were still 2-3 guys out here tackling Will Hoff. Will Hoff's going to get hit more times than some of the guys actually carrying the ball. You can see the linebacker scraping up, the defensive back right there. And there's Ernst protecting the ball this time.
First down, and we've got procedure here on Elk River. False start, and Elks will be moved back 5. And again, that is a couple, not a ton of penalties, but they've both been in spots where they're kind of drive killers a little bit too.
Exactly. And part of the problem with using more than one quarterback, and now their third quarterback in the first half, is that you have the same snap count. Everybody says the same words in the same order, but the inflections are different, and the snap count then ends up being slightly different with each quarterback. And that means 10 guys have to adjust to what the quarterback is saying and doing, and that's a real challenge for your offensive lineman.
Handoff goes to Bartoszewski up the middle. And Bartoszewski down inside the 20 before he is spun down. He'll be close to a first down here.
At the 18.
Looks like it'll be a first down. Give him 15 on that gainer. And so Elk River, boy, a score would be big for them. Obviously down 13-0 here. A little over 5.5 to go in this first half. Dwyer bobbled that snap a little bit, and then Bartoszewski is taken down. Good penetration there. A nice stop defensively by Christian Ulhigh for Maple Grove.
Yeah, that time Ulhigh was able to step right up into the play and make it virtually at the line of scrimmage. A gain of about 1 for Bartoszewski, but that play has been quite successful so far this afternoon for Elk River.
Yeah, Dwyer nearly bobbled that one as well.
Another motion.
And one more time on the false start on the Elks, so moving back 5.
And again, that's a snap count. Bartoszewski moved. He just flexed out of his stance, but a running back, it shows, and another 5-yarder. Those are, as you said, Jay, those are drive killers. You know, you can't always come back with a 15-yard run after a 5-yard penalty.
2nd and 14 now for Elk River. Dwyer keeping it on the outside and dragged down. Getting him around the jersey there was Jake Engelken.
Here we see a lot of people stacked in the middle, and Dwyer getting a pretty good block out on the edge from his guard, number 69, Christian Tobin, pulling around and getting out in front of him there a little bit, giving him a little bit of a gain.
Yeah, got a couple. So 3rd and 12 coming up now for the Elks on the Crimson 19. And they get Maple Grove to jump, it looks like. I didn't see any offensive movement there.
It's going to be an encroachment.
So mark off 5 against Maple Grove. One thing you talked about, Bill, is a little difficult to throw out of this formation. That's the one downfall if you get into 3rd and long kind of things. This way you get 5 yards of it back, so it's a little bit different. Plus you're in 4-down territory here as well.
Right, you only got to get 3-4 yards on each carry if you can
bobbles
handle the
it, it's up in the air and grabbed, and this is going to be a touchdown perhaps. Back the other way with it goes Engelken, and he is gone. Another turnover cost Elk River. Maple Grove only too happy to take advantage as Engelken goes the distance. It was bad enough when it was fumbled, but then when it popped up in the air, it was just kind of tailor-made there for Engelken to go all the way.
And again, that's the quarterback pulling his hands up from the center before the ball snapped. The ball went right from the center right up into the air and pops right into the hands of Jake Engelken, who's happy to return it untouched for a touchdown. You catch the ball in the air in the offensive backfield, you should be able to score. 4 turnovers, 3 touchdowns.
Knutson on to attempt the extra point, and it is good. And again, when it looked as though Elk River might be heading toward the end zone instead, you see that one get flipped up in the air, and it's goodbye. Jake Engelken races the distance there. About an 85-yard return. We're going to catch exactly what yard line he wound up with that one on, but a little bad luck, but again, bad handling. Wow. Yeah. You can't
bad ball handling is really
well,
really hurt them.
Here's the thing, Bill. Not just the 4 that they've lost. They've had another 3 or 4, about 3, I think, that have hit the turf.
Yeah.
And difficult to win games that way. So we'll get Crimson kickoff here as they get the big defensive score. Bartoszewski waiting back deep for it here along with Ernst. A defender's dream there, isn't it? I mean, the only thing that maybe compares is if you step in front of a pass at just the right time. But that one popped up in the air, and his eyes had to get big.
There's nothing like having as a defensive player, there's nothing like having the ball just magically appear in your hands. It's, like you said, that's a dream.
Knutson with the boot. Bartoszewski back to the 5-yard line. Makes a little cut and spun around. Stayed on his feet for a while there, but he's out to the 25-yard line or so, and Elk River will get the football back, and we'll see who will be in there at quarterback. They've had difficulties all the way around handling it. And Bill, obviously Coach Hamilton knows a lot more about coaching football than I do, but I don't know how you can't scratch your head at the thought process behind playing so many different quarterbacks and just basically calling these games early dress rehearsals. I don't see how that helps you.
And this, you know, he's got a sophomore, he's got a junior, and he's got a senior quarterback. All 3 of them have played, but
Bartoszewski, the handoff up the middle here, and popped pretty good by a couple of different Crimson players there. Blake Whitecotton in on that tackle there. Pickup of 3 on the play for Bartoszewski. So we got Austin Larson back under center this possession for the Elks. He has trouble with it. It comes loose and a big scramble on again. And looks as though Elk River did get back on this one. Continue to struggle getting these handoffs out of there. You see,
boy, the ball came right down between his legs. He didn't handle it. By that time he stayed with the center, but he didn't handle the ball when it came to his hands.
I'm not so sure. It almost looked like in turning to either make or fake a handoff that he hit a hip of one of his guards or something with that ball. Does get it away this time to Bartoszewski, but not going very far as he is wrapped up. Nice job there by Maple Grove's Fryer and Uhlhag. Uhlhag with the stop.
Matt Lombardi takes a timeout here. A little over 2 minutes to go in the half. Maple Grove anticipating getting the ball in reasonable field position. And if they really haven't put together a huge drive yet. All 3 of their touchdowns have come off of turnovers. You know, one of them, you know, quite a long return, but a return of a fumble, not really an offensive play. They had a turnover off of one of the previous kickoff returns that turned into a long touchdown 2 plays later, but they really haven't driven the ball. Their offense really hasn't generated a consistent movement. And I think that would be very frustrating to Coach Lombardi and his staff. I think they want to anticipate, you can get the ball possibly right around midfield, and if you can have a sustained 2.5-minute drive to put the ball in the end zone right before halftime, that might be all you need.
And this punt's going to skip out of bounds here. Justin Streifel got away a pretty good one there for the Elks, and no chance on the return, so it gets them out of a little bit of a hole anyway. But as you said, Maple Grove certainly has time. 2:43 to go before halftime, and a 20-0 lead. They'll get the ball on their 28-yard line here.
And they do have 1 timeout left, so they can control the clock a little bit without having to just throw the football or spike it or anything like that.
Handoff goes to Nomain. Breaks through the first tackler and then brought down after a decent run there. Wiechek hanging on around the legs there. And it will be a pickup about 7 on the play for Nomain.
Nomain does a nice job. As he gets into the linebacker zone, he feels a little pressure, makes a spin move, and gets himself another 2 or 3 yards. He gets pretty good downfield blocking from a couple of the offensive linemen. So the offensive linemen are taking him downfield pretty nicely here.
2nd and long 2 now for Maple Grove as we approach 2 minutes to play here. Back to Nomain, cutting it left. Meets up with Miller and kept his legs driving. He'll get enough for the first down here, but that one didn't go as far as it. Oh, we got a flag down anyway here.
There's going to be a procedure penalty against Maple Grove. I think we had 2 people moving. Somebody in the backfield flinched while the wingback was in motion, so we get a 5-yard walk-off. Going to remain 2nd down, but it'll be 2nd and long.
You wonder if this changes the thinking a little bit about how aggressive do you be here.
Yeah, with a minute and 49 and the clock running, you want to be aggressive. You want to score. That 4th touchdown here is a big deal right before the half.
Play action. They're going to look to throw, and this one is batted down. Getting his paw up there was Christian Tobin. He was not very far at all from Altenburg when he started to throw that one, and realized that he was going to let it go and gets that arm up as he's trying to move through Nomain there, and got in there, and that's a big play for the defensive lineman.
Yeah, that's a nice effort. We've heard a lot about it at the college and professional level about people defensive linemen getting their hands up. That's been a mantra of defensive line coaches forever. Is when the quarterback cocks his arm, get your hands up no matter where you are. He might throw right into it.
And another penalty. Wow, both teams have struggled with this.
And procedure penalties are so frustrating because all it is if you're supposed to hold still, hold still. Listen to the snap count and go on the go of the snap count.
So it'll be 3rd and about a dozen now for Maple Grove, and a minute 31 to go before halftime. They lead 20-0. But as many mistakes as Elk River has made, Maple Grove's got a few things to pick at also, especially penalty-wise.
Absolutely. Poise is a big deal. That's all procedure penalties are, just lack of poise.
Altenburg rolling right, has pretty good time, throwing downfield, and again complete, and guess who? Brady Engelke waiting for that one, and it will be complete out to the 44, and will give them enough for a first down. Boy, that was nicely designed and nicely blocked.
And Engelke's running a nice crisp route. He gets the deep push, and then breaks it off just as Altenberg is getting ready to throw the ball. Consequently, it's a very nice timing that he has, but we're down to a minute and 25. Clock is stopped.
Yeah, getting out of bounds was also big on that play.
Yep.
Altenberg gonna throw this one up deep and incomplete as it lands out of bounds. Looking for Sam Franta. That one was well covered also. I think they're probably glad in hindsight that that ball was overthrown out of bounds. That was safer than trying to put it up for grabs there.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, he put a lot of air into that ball. You can run a long ways when the ball's up in the air that long, and the defender stayed right with the play, didn't interfere, but made sure that the ball couldn't be completed.
So 2nd down and 10 here for the Crimson. A minute 18 to play before the half. They lead it by a score of 20-0 against a fumble-prone Elk River squad here tonight. Handoff to Nomain. There's a big hole left side, and he's met and driven back a little bit there. Austin Larson playing defense as well for the Elks and able to come up with the stop right at midfield, in fact.
Nice tackle there. Gain of 5.
Maple Grove going to try and go quick here. So we're under a minute to play. Altenberg looking to throw. Engelke's got it, but this time he is wrapped up immediately, and they stay in bounds as well. Job defensively there by Brad Yankoviak. It'll only be a gain of about 3.
Yankoviak does a nice job. He stays with Engelke on the outcut, makes the tackle, and keeps Engelke in bounds to keep the clock moving. With only about 20 seconds left, I think they'll just let the clock run out now rather than try to run another play unless he takes his time out.
Yeah, I don't think they had enough time to let it run all the way out, maybe, is the deal here.
Yeah.
You're going to take a timeout right as the play clock's going to run down.
Yeah.
So 4th and a yard for Maple Grove, but they let the time run down and then take that timeout. Maybe try and get a quick first down and then throw something downfield, or maybe be satisfied where you're at. Thing is, the clock would stop on a change of possession, though, too.
Right,
so
on 4th down,
you would give Elk River one play if you.
And you don't want to just kneel down. You want to run. You want to make sure you do something to use up 11 seconds.
Been a kind of a strange game, a lot.
Absolutely.
Especially with the football put on the ground so many times here by Elk River. You know, they have to be thinking this would be a much different game if we'd just been able to hang on to it.
Yeah.
They could
easily see. They could actually easily see that this could be a 12 or 14 point game in their favor. It could be a 12 or 14 to 7 game if they don't turn the ball over. Of course, the if isn't in your favor there.
Altenberg dropping to throw, now in some trouble, and he's going to be sacked. And there will be time left on the clock as well, so Elk River will get the football back as he just ran out of real estate here. Wisely doesn't give up the ball.
No.
But you see he's pursued, and
pretty good pressure by the defense, starting with Nate Collins, number 30, the outside flank support guy, forcing Altenberg back, and the rest of the defense able to make the play.
Pink is going to come in as the quarterback here, and on the 47-yard line. Probably he'll only have time for one play, obviously, here, unless there's a penalty. And goes up the middle with it here, and that one's not going to amount to much, and we will reach halftime here. And a good first half overall for Maple Grove, able to capitalize on some turnovers. Our score at the half, Crimson 20, Elks nothing. We'll have first half highlights and then more football for you here, right here on 12 Sports.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
Channel 12's Community Corner puts the spotlight on your corner of the northwest suburbs.
We want to talk about some things happening around the city of Maple Grove.
New Hope's rinks are officially open.
This is the spot for the Golden Valley Rotary Club.
The City Council worked really hard not to have a tax increase.
You can instantly upgrade your wardrobe with a few simple accessories.
We're in Golden Valley today doing a little recycling.
Rediscover your corner of the northwest suburbs every day on Channel 12's Community Corner.
Welcome back here to Crimson Stadium as Maple Grove leads Elk River 20-0 at halftime. We'll check out some first half highlights in this one, and for Elk River, kind of a sign of things to come on their first offensive snap. They walk up to the line and we drop the ball. It's rolling around in the middle there. At first nobody saw it, and then Maple Grove able to get the recovery right away. And they were only too happy to take advantage, starting out with Altenberg rolling out and finding his favorite target tonight, Brady Engelke, on a nice third down reception there. That one went for 32, and then it sets up a touchdown for Tahi Domain, who was held pretty quiet in the first half, but he did have a nice run and nicely blocked, of course, on that touchdown as well. We get a little flare pass. You see Clark Winicky breaking a tackle right away, got a couple downfield blocks, and then good speed for him. He goes 58 yards for the touchdown. And Elk River, looked like they might get some momentum back here. Nice kickoff return by Zach Ernst, but then the kicker makes him change direction, and that allows just enough time for Adam Brandt to come and strip it from behind. And the Crimson get the recovery, a huge play right there. And then a ball bobbled up into the air. Defender's dream right there as Jake Engelken grabs it in midair and goes the distance for the touchdown. And Maple Grove capitalizing on turnovers in a big way. They lead it 20-0. You see Elk River's actually run the ball fairly well in this first half. They have not yet thrown a pass. Maple Grove, meanwhile, has thrown very well. 143 yards through the air for the Crimson. First down's relatively even, which, looking at the score, seems surprising, but the big thing is the 4 turnovers. Elk River is committed, and they put the ball on the ground a few more times. They've got to get the ball handling squared away if they're going to have any chance to get back into this one. Stay tuned. The second half of football is coming up next. Maple Grove looking to go to 3-0, and they're looking good so far. They're up 20-0 here on Elk River.
Behind the wheel, there is no such thing as a small distraction. A public service reminder from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons. Speak out against distracted driving at decidetodrive.org.
And now, another adventure with Savings Man.
This is great. Every day should be like this.
It will be when I retire in a few years. I've been planning and saving.
Did you save for me? Well, this is unexpected.
Where'd you come from?
Out of the blue, just like an illness, an emergency, or
That's enough, Mr. Unexpected.
Savings Man.
There's still time to plan. Find out how at choosetosave.org with a ballpark estimate worksheet.
I will. Thanks, Savings Man.
No, thank you.
So visit choosetosave.org today.
Tyler Knutson getting set to kick off here for Maple Grove to begin half number 2. Bartoszewski and Ernst waiting back deep here for Elk River. Frustrating first half for the Elks, who did some things well, moved the ball, but just put the ball on the ground way too many times. Knutson's kick will come to Bartoszewski at the 9. Right on that left hash mark, and he is met hard. I believe that's Coyne down there covering kicks.
Yep.
And he got a big piece of him right there. Right at the 20-yard line.
You see Tyler Coyne, again, showing some versatility, getting downfield in good order. Very nice one-on-one tackle on a guy that's pretty hard to tackle one-on-one.
So Elks football 1st and 10 on the 20. Again, they used 3 quarterbacks in that first half, and it'll be the sophomore Trent Pink in there to begin half number 2 for Elk River. And guess what? He bobbled the snap. And looks like the Elks did get back on this one. They did. Bartoszewski, the fullback, able to recover it. So obviously halftime did not solve their issues with handling the football or handling the snap even. It isn't even so much fumbling after being tackled. No. It's not getting the snap cleanly or the handoff cleanly. So a 2nd down and 10 coming up here for Elk River. Handoff going right side. It's Ernst on the carry. Brought down by Brandt for Maple Grove. And he'll pick up about 5 on the play. Ernst had a really nice first half, actually. 4 rushes and 62 yards unofficially.
And about a 70-yard kickoff return.
Bad thing was that one ended with a fumble, or bad thing for their sake anyway. A great play by Brandt to run him down. So a 3rd down and 5 coming up here for Elk River, and a nice stop defensively. Knifing in there to take Ernst down was Peter Olson, number 7 for the Crimson, and he'll stop him right about the line of scrimmage and force a punting situation for Elk River. It'll be the first time they've actually punted tonight, believe it or not. It's second time, excuse me, has mainly been turnovers, but Justin Streifel will kick. Isaac Collins waiting back deep. Rush coming, oh, and he just gets that one away. Takes a pretty good Elk River bounce, and Collins is going to have to watch it, and it will be down at the 32 or 33 yard line. He just barely got that one out. Maple Grove came hard off their left side of their D.
Fortunately for Streifel, he concentrated on kicking the ball rather than seeing the rush coming at him. I don't think he even knew that they were there, which is good. You want your punter to concentrate on kicking the football. But that was a close one.
Got to give the Maple Grove rusher some credit there, too. He did not run in. He took the angle that, okay, if I don't get the ball, I'm not going to run over the punter. Nomain with the carry, did not get a whole lot that time, and tackled there by Nate Collins for the Elks. Short pickup on the play of 2, maybe 3 on the carry for Nomain, who, again, it came in averaging some eye-popping totals, Bill, nearly 14 yards a carry through the first 2 weeks, and averaging up close to 300 yards a game, over 270 a game in those first 2. They've really held him in check comparatively, but handoff this time goes to Winicky. Weaves his way through a hole. Winicky into the secondary. The race is on, and he is going to go. Second long touchdown of the game for Clark Winicky. This time will cover 64 yards. The previous one on a pass. This time on a rush, and Winicky helping Maple Grove blow it open.
Very nice little counter play inside. Winicky's able to break a tackle in the linebacker zone and then just outruns Austin Larson, the safety, to the end zone. Good speed by Clark Winicky. He's outrun the defensive backs twice tonight.
Extra point attempt is up, and it is good from Knutson. So Maple Grove's lead extended here via this play.
You see Winicky just at the end of this really pulls away from Larson, who just couldn't get a hand on him. That does a lot for your rushing average right there, too.
So Maple Grove making the big plays in this one. A couple of them on offense, one on defense for a score. And they've not had your garden variety little short runs. It's been mainly real distance covering plays, and they've shown some good overall team speed. You said Winicky, I mean, it was very well blocked, and he cut very well, but the last 40 or so of that was just by him being faster than the defense.
Absolutely.
So Knutson will kick it off here. Bartoszewski and Ernst waiting back deep again for Elk River. Now trailing at 27 zip. High kick. Bartoszewski drifting over to the 3, fakes the handoff. Looking to get to the edge here, and here he comes up the sideline. He's blasted out of bounds on a major league collision over near the 40.
With his own man. Somebody standing on the sideline, not getting out of the way.
Yeah, he got shoved hard by a defender right into one of his linemen, it looked like.
We saw some of the speed that Dennis Bartoszewski has. Very nice speed. He's not a huge guy, but he's pretty well put together at 170 pounds. You can see right here, he makes a nice move, hits the Jets, and just about gets out of sight. Collins really.
It looked like the guy on the sideline did try to catch him, and that may or may not have helped any.
Yeah.
There's Pink handing it off. Bartoszewski wrapped up immediately. Solid tackle for the Crimson there by Theo Fryer.
Yeah, the Crimson defense is now playing 4 guys on the inside 3, the center and the 2 guards of the offense. And that play to Bartoszewski just is not going to be there as long as that defense is playing that. Maple Grove is saying Bartoszewski isn't going to beat us on that play. You got to find somebody else to give the ball to.
About a half-yard gain there, 2nd down and 9 for the Elks. This time kept by Pink around the edge. Pink forced out of bounds here by, I believe it was Brandt, who got a couple hands on him to shove him out, but a nice gainer here. We'll give him a 1st down. About a 15-yard pickup.
You can see that the outside linemen for the Maple Grove defense that time were pinching hard into the inside, taking the inside shoulder of the tight ends, and really trying to close everything down inside.
Ernst takes the handoff this time off right tackle, and a solid gainer there. He'll pick up 5 or 6 on that carry to the right. And this is, early in the game after they fumbled it on their first drive, of course.
Right.
But the second time they had the ball, they marched the ball nicely, and certainly other times too showed signs of moving the ball via the ground, but just too many turnovers.
Yeah, too many turnovers, and you can't give up field position. You've got to, you've really got to play.
Bartoszewski fumbles it here, it looks like. I didn't hear a whistle. It looks like this one may be a Crimson football. They sure think so anyway.
Bartoszewski's on his back with the football, and looks like the defensive guy was on top of him with the football. Yep.
Peter Olson comes up with the recovery for Maple Grove. 5th turnover for Elk River. As Bartoszewski getting popped as soon as he got this ball. He tried to fight his way out of it, but couldn't hold on to the football, and the Crimson force another turnover here. And this time, accurate to say force. Some of the other ones were more really on out. I know. I'm sorry, my mistake. He never really had.
Yeah, that ball was on his hip, not in his arms.
The part about getting hit right away was accurate, but he never really actually had the ball. Here's a give off to Nomain. Nomain bouncing it to the outside. He has a chance to go down the sideline, and he'll be caught, but we've got a flag down on this play anyway. This one will be coming back. Looks like it's going to be probably a hold out there. Yes, it is a hold against the Crimson, so bring it back.
Somebody out on the edge as Nomain went by. Somebody got hold of somebody else and negated a very nice run. Longest run of scrimmage for Nomain this evening. It's going to be a 10-yard walk-off. Still 1st down, 1st and about 13. Fortunate for Elk River there that they that happened. Again, Maple Grove has hurt themselves with penalties tonight at untimely spots in the game, too.
First down, Altenberg rolling to his right. He has all day to look downfield, throwing deep. Flag is down on the play. It's incomplete. A flag in the secondary, probably going to be a defensive hold or legal contact downfield. As Engelke made that second move and the defender got up into him. You see it's actually, the flag was already flying. Yeah. It was well before, you know, the ball was coming. Pass interference will be the call.
It's going to be 15 and an automatic first down. So that'll go from the previous spot, 15 yards. Automatic first down, even though it was first and 13, it's still going to be an automatic first down anyway.
So give the Crimson good field position into Elk River territory here.
And you can, again, the progression of the passing there, the couple times they've been successful throwing that out cut, and now he makes the out cut and then turns. As he turns, he runs right into the defender, and that becomes a pass interference.
And off to Winicky on the sweep, and not much happening there as Joe Gonrowski was out there and got no gain on the play there. Last time ran for 64. That one doesn't go for anything for Winicky. But a second down and 10 now coming up for the Crimson at the 41 of Elk River. Under 7 minutes to go now. Third quarter, 27-0 Crimson. They led 20-0 at halftime. And again, a very strange game. Just because of all the turnovers for Elk River, there were times when you thought they were going to get back in this, and just too many costly mistakes in ball handling. Here's Winicky taking the handoff here for the Crimson, and that one a solid run. Guys are all tangled up still down there as trying to get up and out of there.
Nice gain by Winicky. He's going to make it, instead of 3rd and long, he's going to make it 3rd and 5.
So they'll call it 3rd down 4 right on the 35-yard line here for Maple Grove. Halfway through this third quarter now. Altenberg will give it to Coyne up the middle, and he's got some space. And he is just kind of a heat-seeking missile there. You get the feeling he'd rather run over a defender than into free space there almost.
Absolutely, nice delay. Good cross block up front. Nicely done by the Maple Grove offensive line executing that short trap play.
And we haven't had a chance to talk about them a lot tonight, but they've got a pretty veteran offensive line, and they like this group. They feel like they're for the most part performing well, and can be a good run blocking line, but also a good pass blocking line as we've seen tonight. Here's the handoff to Nomain. He lowers his shoulders and drives inside the 25 to about the 23 or so, give him a 5-yard gain or so. He hasn't had the real long burst tonight, but they've started to consistently get 4 or 5 yards or so with Nomain.
Yeah, and the offensive line is starting to take control of the line of scrimmage. They're getting a little bit better push each play on the Elk River defense. Consequently, those plays that were being made at the line of scrimmage in the first half are now being made at 2, 3, 4 yards into the defensive side of the ball, and the running backs are getting a little bit more yardage.
Toss out to Winicky, and he is forced out of bounds, but we'll have the first down with ease here for the Crimson. Ooh, a flag way late.
We're going to have a sportsman.
And it'll be against Maple Grove, and one of each.
Right.
So offsetting unsportsmanlike penalties here.
That's usually the referee and the officiating crew telling both teams, stop the chippiness. There must be a lot of conversation going on down there that you can see people are talking and yakking at each other, and that's the officials just sending the message to both teams, shut up and play football.
the result of the play is going to stand. It was after the play, so they will get the first down gain there of about 7 or 8 for Winnicke. And a first down, 4:45 to go. They'll wind the clock here just inside the 15-yard line here. 1st and 10 on the 14 for Maple Grove, trying to extend a 27-0 lead. Play action here. And here's the pass, and it is caught just short of the end zone. But a nice grab, nice throw too. Engelke reaching out and hauling it in at the 1. It'll be a pickup of 13. He doesn't quite get the TD, but an excellent catch and throw will put them in golden position here.
Right there at the 1-yard line, 1st and goal. Engelke does a very good job. This is where the receiver says, boy, I made you look good on that one. Quarterback gets a completed pass, and the receiver makes a nice grab.
Give us to Coyne up the middle, and he is going to push his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Maple Grove as Coyne takes it the final yard for the Crimson, and they have really opened this one up here with the first 2 scores of the second half. So Maple Grove will try and add the point after touchdown here, and smooth sailing for the most part here this evening.
And Maple Grove has made the most of the mistakes that Elk River's had. This is their 4th touchdown off of a turnover. So
they're going to go for 2 here. Roll out, and Altenberg throwing, and it is complete, and he's got the pass to Coyne, so that'll make it a 35-0 score. Gets one via the rush, and then goes in. There you see a couple looks at the touchdown, and
good push by the offensive line, getting a good movement on the line of scrimmage, and Coyne hitting the right spot and getting behind the guy making the block and making that short touchdown run, but making a nice play on the 2-point conversion as Altenberg's able to get around and find Coyne right in the flat after he came out of the backfield. That's a tough guy to cover in such a short field as that guy coming out of the backfield, because he kind of gets lost in the people at the line of scrimmage, and then all of a sudden there he is in the flat.
I have to wonder a little bit if that 2-point conversion isn't with the running time rule in mind. Otherwise,
be,
that they're, you get to the 4th quarter, and if you got a 35-point lead, the clock would keep moving, and probably the best reason or biggest reason you might try that in that spot. Bartoszewski goes to a knee, but he got up. And Bartoszewski will be down at about the 23. He went to a knee, but he didn't have possession yet, I don't think, and then he got back up.
Got up and then picked up the ball, yeah. That had to be what the referee saw. We can see here he's on the ground. Yep, he had both feet back under him and both knees off the ground when he actually picked the ball up. Then he got whacked pretty hard.
Yeah, I'm not so sure they were doing him any favors by allowing him to run that one. And that quarterback is Nolan Dwyer again here for Elk River now as they trail at 35-0. And they lose the center snap. This is some 3rd grade football here being displayed by the Elks. They will get the ball back this time. And actually gain about a yard, I guess. Second down, 9. Lost the ball again. Might be time to just wave the white flag here, Bill, and go home.
I am totally baffled by what's going on. The quarterback, obviously Dwyer is pulling out before he ever gets the ball, and he's been bumped into twice by pulling guards. and the ball is just laying on the floor for anybody who wants to walk by and pick it up. And 6 or 7 times tonight it's been Elk River losing the ball, and the Crimson guys coming by are the guys walking along picking it up.
So Maple Grove will get it back here on the 26-yard line of the Elks.
This is very challenging to keep playing defense under these situations.
In at the tailback, and they lose the football. Ian Hansen never really got it, and looks like Elk River's going to have it. So the favor returned here as Miller ends up with the recovery for Elk River. Well, an auspicious start there. Ian Hansen, the junior, in there and trying to get this handoff, and just kind of juggles it right off the get-go there, and Miller ends up with the recovery.
Ian Hansen is acting like he wasn't even supposed to get the ball. He continued running right in the secondary without even looking for where the ball was. There's some confusion on that play, sincerely.
Elk River football again. Dwyer with it. He's going to keep it. And wrapped up and knocked down after a short pickup there as Brandt in on the stop. Gain of about 3 or so. Well, maybe a little more than that, actually. Closer to 4 or 5. Give him 4 on the play. Second down and 6. 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. And a false start on the Elks. It's not been a pretty game, man.
No, I think when the Elk River coaching staff watches this, they're going to be very upset, and this is the kind of game you don't want to show to your players. Tomorrow afternoon or Sunday or Monday, whenever they watch it, they're probably better off watching their next opponent.
Dwyer giving it off up the middle. And Bartoszewski on the carry here. Out to the 30-yard line, giving him about 6 on this play. Crimson, you know, it's funny, both the backs that everybody talked about and that we featured in our pregame, they've done okay.
They've done pretty well, yeah.
But not anything terribly special for either one.
No. Bartoszewski's been pretty well wrapped up since the middle of the second quarter. Hadn't really been able to get out and do anything. And
an immediate stack up here as the handoff going this time to Ernst, and he did not quite make it back to the line of scrimmage, even a loss of 1, and bring up a 4th down now for Elk River. Well defended there, and you see taking on a block and receiving the ball carrier all at once.
Yep. And that's the challenge is now for Elk River is that Maple Grove is committing all 11 people to the line of scrimmage. You've only can block with 9 people if you're running the football, and 11 outnumbers 9, and you always end up with 2 people that are free to make the tackle, and the numbers just don't work very well.
Streifel with the punt, and Collins running up to take that fair catch at the 42. Did a good job to get to that ball.
Absolutely.
You as a punt returner, your first thing is try not to let the ball bounce if you can avoid it, and he got to it. He's a baseball player and was confident in his ability to catch that one on the run, even though he had to run past a defender who had already gotten down there.
Yep.
And handoff on first down here. A big battle for it. The run is Eric Peterson, the senior running back. Flag down toward the end of this play. Oh, a sideline warning against Maple Grove.
Oh, okay. Too many people inside the white restraining box.
So I believe that's just a warning on the first one here. Maybe. We'll see. No, I'm sorry. I'm misreading the signal. This may be aiding the ball carrier by pushing.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's what it's going to be. And Coach Lombardi wants an explanation for that.
The other running back was giving him an illegal help.
In other words, you're not allowed to push your own player forward. So a spot of the foul penalty, so they get part of that. And then push back. Handoff goes to Coyne, the fullback. Drives his way into Elk River territory and going to be very close to a first down. He might have it, it appears, right at the 48. Yes, he will. Kind of reminds me of like when you had Mike Allstott as a runner.
Right.
The guy just going to get those legs churning and get the shoulder pads going forward. And if anybody can bring him down, then they're welcome to try.
There you go. Just push the whole thing forward. And
under a minute to go now here in this third quarter. Play action here. Altenberg throwing on the run. He's got Coyne out in the flat. And Coyne knocked down by Miller. But it'll be enough for a first down here for the Crimson. Pickup of about 17, 18 more. 18. Coyne's second catch of the night. And also had one on a two-point conversion. So he's done a little bit of everything here.
Nice block downfield by Engelke to give Coyne another 8 or 10 yards after the catch.
On the 30, first down. Here comes the toss back. Peterson on the run. Fought his way through the first guy and then brought down after about a 4-yard pickup. And that might be the final play of the quarter here, I would suspect. Maple Grove does not look like they're going to try and run another play here, and it'll be 2nd and 6 when we come back in the fourth quarter. After 3, Maple Grove in command. Our score is Crimson 35, Elks nothing. The fourth quarter is on the way next.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. If you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Just a reminder, kids who participate in high school activities tend to go a little farther than those who don't. Take part. Get set for life.
And we get set for quarter number 4 here at Maple Grove Crimson Stadium. 2nd down and 6 coming up here for Maple Grove, and I think they were giving both coaches a little rundown on the running time situation here. Handoff goes back to Peterson, and he will fall inside the 20, and that should give them enough for a first down here. And it will. No, actually they're going to spot. Yeah, they're going to spot it right on the 20.
Boy, it's hard to tell. It looks like the end of the stick is right there on the 20, but it's just inside.
Yeah, and he kind of bounced forward a little bit. I thought he had gotten, clearly inside the 20, but where he was ruled down is right on the 20. So 3rd down and a yard here for Maple Grove. Trying to move to 3-0 on the season here, and obviously looking very much like they will. Altenberg throwing this one up for grabs. Little jump ball, and it's incomplete. Wanted to go to Engelke. He was well defended there. As Jankowiak was down there defensively, I think, for Elk River. Bring up a 4th down and a yard. Another look at it, they just said, okay, go up and get this one, but Jankowiak had inside position. Engelke still only need about a half yard here, though, so, and they've doesn't seem out of the question that they'll just either sneak it or give it to this guy, Coyne, and he easily gets the 1st down and just lost his footing, or he might have been into the end zone.
Yep. Oh yeah, and he just lost his footing. He was not only easily had the 1st down, he was well on the way to the end zone.
And hard not to be frustrated when you're already 0-2 and down by this margin too. You have to think the zest for tackling is probably going to get lessened down the stretch here if you're the Elks right now. Peterson, well, not on that play. That's good to see, but Peterson goes for a short gain, maybe a couple on the play. Peterson sounds like his other number is 32, but he had in the home jersey it was ripped, so he's 82 and 34. It's not that often you see a running back wearing 84, but 32 he'll be in the white jerseys, it sounds like. Second down from the 10. The counter goes to Peterson. They're trying to strip it, and it does come loose. And recovered by the Elks.
Yep.
Elk River will get it, as going for the ball was Zach Severson, and he ended up getting it out of there.
You can see as Peterson starts to turn right there, defensive back gets a good grip on the ball and doesn't let go until he pulls it out.
Good recovery made there by Tobin.
Peter Jones. Yeah, Tobin pursuing from his defensive tackle spot. That's a big turnover for Elk River. I don't know that they're going to get back in the game. Probably not. But that's a big turnover, not giving up a touchdown. Making a good defensive play when you're looking like you're pretty well out of the game, that's a nice thing to have happen.
Pink in at quarterback, handing it off and stumbling his way forward there. On the carry that time is Ryan Osberg, number 20 for the Elks. And he will get a gainer of 5 or so.
A pretty good push by the offensive line. Nice kick out block on the trap that popped him out there.
A lot of subs in defensively certainly here for Maple Grove. Second down and 5. Give off up the middle, and that is Ernst on the carry, or off right tackle, and he was met by Adam Brandt on the stop. Just short of the 1st down.
I think that Elk River has still not thrown a pass in this game.
That is correct. Not even had a one where they were going to attempt one. Handoff. Osberg will have enough for the 1st down as he scrambles his way out over to near the 20. They'll spot him on about the 18. So 1st down and 10 for Elk River. Keeper by Pink, and he will be forced out of bounds. Next up for the Crimson, they go to Blaine. That should be a good one on Friday the 20th. And then they have their homecoming here against Anoka on the 27th. Meanwhile, for Elk River, it doesn't get a whole lot easier the next 2 weeks. They host Andover, who's having a nice start, and then go to Totino Grace after that.
And Totino got pretty well stung last night by Eden Prairie, so they'll be looking to bounce back.
Big gainer here as Bartoszewski nearly broke that one. Broke it somewhat, but nearly took it all the way as out over the 45, about the 48-yard line.
Nice run. You see Bartoszewski makes a sideways slide step in the backfield, lets the block happen, hits the hole, and really accelerates through very nicely. Gets a nice gain there. Was that about 22 yards?
About 26, it looked like.
Okay.
So out to the 48 here for the Elks. Going to go back to Bartoszewski and wrapped up right at midfield. As he was stopped on the play there by Jack Dahl McGlone along with Craig Urquhart. And looks like Bartoszewski might have hurt a finger.
Yeah, he's holding his hand there.
Second down and 8 here for the Elks, trying to at least break the shutout. It's Pink on the keeper. Ooh, and he takes a hard hit. And there is Engelken, who had that touchdown earlier, coming over to make a strong tackle there. Lined him up.
Pretty nice fake, good ball handling, get the ball in the hip, turn up field, linebacker coming across. Nicely done by Jake Engelken.
About 3rd and 4 or 5 coming here for the Elks. Past the halfway point here of this 4th quarter, and Maple Grove jumping. Going to be an offside call against the Crimson.
It might be enough for a first down.
Yeah, I think it will be.
If it isn't, it'll be, yeah, it is. So, and that time everybody on the offensive line held still pretty nicely as Pink used his voice to draw the Crimson defenders into the neutral zone.
Handoff off left tackle, and on the carry this time for the Elks is Will Hoff, getting actually his first time able to take the handoff. He did start the game at one of those halfback spots.
He got tackled a lot early in the game, but never had the ball.
Picks up about 5 on that carry here, as Elk River at least trying to avoid being shut out anyway. They did actually score some points against Eden Prairie in that first week. You know, probably some of them or most of them may be coming later in the game. But here's Bartoszewski. Ooh, and he was just tripped up. He had a lot more room to go if Chris Fondakowski didn't get a piece of him there.
Boy, just got him by the toe and just enough to trip him up. Right there. Oh. All Bartoszewski could see was the goal line, and he was ready to get there, and just a trip up.
Handoff goes back to Bartoszewski, and the same guy gets him this time with a little help on the lower portion of the body there by Carson Ayers too, but Fondakowski coming over to wrap him up. Gets about 8 on this carry. Handoff here, goes left side. Osberg running, and he fumbles. It pops into the air, and it's grabbed up. Fondakowski on the recovery, and now he makes his way back upfield. They try and dig it free from him, but he is going to fall on it here. A hit popped that ball free. It was a nice run initially by Osberg here.
Yep.
And then you see right there,
somebody got a helmet right on the ball. That's a tough one to deal with. But you got to take care of the rock. Pink does a good job of staying with the tackle. Looked like he was going to get a phalanx of blockers out there in front of him. But Pink made a pretty good play. There's another instance where Elk River has a nice drive going and loses it with another bad turnover. Probably their 7th of the game.
Toss back here on first down, and here comes Jebba Doe running it upfield here. He's the punter for this team and also back up at running back, and dashes out to the 46 or so. Nice gainer there, 26, 27 yards. Down to 3:15 to go and counting here is a first down and 10 now for the Crimson, and marching back 5 here. It'll make it 1st and 15. I stand corrected. I must have been wrong about the running time situation here.
It was hard to tell when Elk River had the ball because the clock doesn't stop when you just run the football.
Give off up the middle here for Crimson, and a short pickup that time by Brandon Gross. Got about 3 on that carry. Handoff going to Doe off the right side. Battling to just shy of midfield. Give him a gain of about 4 on that carry. So Maple Grove going to jump out to a 3-0 start here, and pretty key game next week against Blaine. That's,
I think that's going to be a tough one. But that's a key game not only in this conference, but in the bigger scheme of things, it's a big game.
Here's Evan Puko keeping it, and he's got plenty of room to run down the sideline. Gets a block late, and he's going to go in for the touchdown. Wow, 51-yard run. Yeah, you get a chance to get a few snaps in there late, and you got to like it.
He gets a nice block downfield. As he gets into these, lets himself get set up. Nice block by number 83, Teddy Kientz on Larson, and there he is in the end zone.
Knutson on to attempt the extra point here. And the kick is up, and it's good. A little bit of Elk River's own medicine there with the,
with the
bootleg and the ball on the hip kind of deal, huh?
Yep,
not
absolutely.
quite the same, but
a pretty good result, though.
See a good patience there, and
yep,
allowed that block to be made and made cleanly there.
Well done. So we had three long touchdowns today, 51, 58, and 64.
And also the fumble return was
85. Yeah.
So big
a lot of big running plays and everything going on for Maple Grove tonight.
So they will kick it off here, and Elk River will get the ball back for one last time. And Crimson won the North Division of the Northwest Suburban Conference last year, and looking like a team that should be very much a contender this year. Blaine next week will be one of the bigger tests they'll get. It's interesting because the divisions are by size of school, but I don't think necessarily that the bigger one could clearly be set as the better one, because the smaller side has Andover and Osseo and Totino Grace on it. So could be a case made that the strength of the two is about equal. You know, the bottom teams certainly are probably weaker on the small side, but or the west side, I should call it, the West Division, but hard to say how much longer. I mean, obviously we've got some more new teams coming into the conference next year with Irondale and Spring Lake Park also, and we're gonna, sounds like, go to expected to go to maybe a north-south format, more geography-based than size-based, and then after that, who knows? There's going to be potentially some changes in football scheduling entirely in Minnesota anyway.
Absolutely, as we run into the 0 week and all the subtleties with the scheduling, it'd be very different. Several conferences are moving around, adding and subtracting various teams as well.
There's a look at some of the Crimson fans pumped up, and the good news about these 5 o'clock games is, well, or maybe it's not as good news depending on if you're a parent or school administrator, but there is still time to have some fun after the game too. You get done nice and early on nights like this. So Bartoszewski carried that one for about 4 yards. And are they going to throw?
Nope.
Not quite. Dwyer is sacked instead. Getting to him for Maple Grove there is Matthew Rakuski. Could be the last play. We'll see if Elk River hurries up and tries to run something more here. We're down to 12 seconds and counting. Maple Grove rolling. They've had 2 lopsided wins. One they had to work for a little bit more against Hopkins in week 2. And here goes Bartoszewski. He might go on the last play of the game for a touchdown. One guy has a chance to catch him, but he's not going to do it. It's an 81-yard touchdown. How do you like that? They break the scoreless situation on the final play here of scrimmage. And off to Bartoszewski.
And Bartoszewski gets a pretty good sized chunk of rushing yardage right here at the end.
So he will go all the way with no time remaining on the clock here, and they'll have Larson come on to attempt an extra point. And an illegal substitution before they could even make that snap, and it'll be against Elk River. This is just a game that doesn't want to end, Bill. We need to put a fork in this.
Well, and Elk River continues to find ways to make mistakes. Illegal substitution with no time on the clock.
And the kick is up, and it is no good after all of that. So we have completed this one mercifully here as Maple Grove rolling to victory here. Elk River gets that touchdown, the final play of the game. Our final score in this one is Maple Grove 42, Elk River 6. We'll be back to hear from the Crimson and wrap things up here in just a moment. You're watching Northwest Suburban Football here on 12 Sports.
Elk River here 42-6, and we're with three of the guys that helped to make it happen. We'll start with the guy who had a good game defensively, got a defensive touchdown, Jake Engelken. How much fun was it when that ball popped up in the air real nice for you?
Well, it was literally like the luckiest play you could get, but it's like you get going, you take advantage, and you just go as hard as you can, really. Once you get in there, it's like there's nothing else to scoring on defense. It doesn't happen all the time. It's just
They've got an offense that's kind of tough to tell who has the football and everything on a lot of plays, but overall, how did you feel like your D played out here?
Well, in the first half, we really struggled. We got very lucky that they fumbled the ball a little bit, and we just happened to come up with it. But it's like we had made adjustments at halftime and just came out and played football, really.
3-0 start, and you've got Blaine next week. You guys feeling good about the way things have gone so far this year?
Well, yeah, we have 3 wins now. It's a habit to keep winning. It's like keep playing football, scout, play hard, and see all it goes against Blaine and play our best.
All right, congratulations on the win. Have fun next week.
Thank you.
And Brady Engelke got things started. Some of those key completions on third down, I thought it really showed that you guys are more than just a team that can run the football. How big was that for you guys?
I just really try to push my routes to the first down marker just to get the big first downs, keep the drives moving. Felt good to get the catches in though.
You guys got the young quarterback who's learning on the fly here and everything. As receivers, do you try and make sure you help him out and run the routes the way that he's expecting to?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's doing fine. He's got a few things to learn, but he'll come through during the season, I think.
This was really a weird game. I mean, they fumbled the ball so many times. They shot themselves in the foot and everything. But how did you like the way you guys took advantage of that and just kind of put them away like you did?
I thought we could have done better in the first half, taking advantage of our opportunities, but in the third quarter, I felt like we did a lot better.
2 blowout wins so far, one that was a little tougher against Hopkins, but do you like life as a Crimson player right now, the way things are going?
I really do. I feel confident in our team this year.
All right, Brady, have fun against the Plains. Should be a good one next week.
Yep.
All right.
Should be fun.
All right, Clark Winnicky, a couple long touchdown runs for you. And, of course, last year everybody got a chance to see your brother do a lot of big things for this program. How much fun was it for you tonight to break free and get a couple big scores?
It was great. I was out for a couple games, but it feels nice to be on the back of the field and my team supporting me. And great linemen.
Yeah, that's one thing that a lot of times doesn't get enough credit is the way you guys have some guys up front that really do a nice job. Timing-wise, getting holes opened up and just bringing you, talk about their performance through these first 3 games. What have you seen from the O-line as a group?
They're very good, and they really never let you get hit in the backfield. You always got automatic 5 yards, and you just got to make plays from them.
Like we said, this was a weird game. I mean, it ends up being a real blowout, but at the same time, you have to go out and take care of business. And even though everything didn't go right for you guys tonight, did you feel like you did a solid job of just kind of putting this team away eventually?
Yeah, I felt that in the first half we didn't play that well, but at halftime we had a good talk with the coach and we came out hard and played hard the second half.
What do you know about Blaine so far? I mean, obviously you guys will study them a lot in the week ahead, but what have you heard about them? What do you expect from them?
I expect them to be good because in the past they've always been really good, but I haven't seen them much this year.
All right, Clark, have fun in that one and the rest of the season as well.
Thank you.
All right, Clark Winnicky, a couple long touchdowns for Maple Grove, 1 via the pass, 1 via the rush. The Crimson stay undefeated as they win it by a score of 42-6 over Elk River here this evening. For Bill Hunstock and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. So long from Maple Grove's Crimson Stadium.